Hi everyone. So welcome to day 81. So on the day 81, where we were moving towards, yesterday we designed the ER and based on that we changes the model. But when I studied more about it before designing into it or moving towards this, and I first tried that method in the code. Then I will let you know, and based on that we will change the ER diagram of our database as well. So let me show you the code. So here, if you see the models.py where we were using that, now we are setting this method. And why I have choose this method, I will also let you know. So I have just modified few things in the user table, and I have created two more tables. That is role user and role. So first is a user table where the same thing. User ID is there, created ID is there, username is there, password is there, email is there, phone number is there, name is there, which are all fine. Now under review is there, status is there, right? So these are all the things we require, and last login at. All right. So these are things we require, and we modified this. Now we have added these three things. So what is this three thing? And for this we have added this as well. So to let you know what are these things, understand this. There we know that there is only possibility that there is only one. There is, let's say, two or three roles, or even four roles. Multi-tenant structure. So multi-tenant means level of people will access the application. So I have maintained one role table, you can see here, and in that there is only three things: ID, name and description. So ID is just the again ID, name is the uh, name of this role, let's say admin, user or someone, and description is something that is what that role defines. Let's say user, so this is the default user, then there is an admin, this will access this part, then there is super admin which will access this part, then that could be customer, then we can define that, then there could be a creator, and then could be a messenger or something. So all should be there. So these are the multi-level of architecture we can think of. So right now our application has only two roles, that is admin, and second one is the user. So by default we have a user. So we have did that in the roles. And what is FS unifier? Now instead of JWT token, we are using FS unifier with the help of active. So these two combined will help you create authentication token instead of bearer token. Wow, and that is itself the property of Flask security. So we are not using the JWT token. Now we will shifting towards authentication token. So we will change accordingly. Now why this is a relationship table and where does it remains roles user? So it is coming from here. So it is just a table that is maintaining a relationship between role and user. So these two ideas combined gives you a role user where we match the roles of every user, and it is done internally and managed by this library called as Flask Security 2. So let me show that library itself. So I was reading its APIs. You can go to its overview and see that. So we are just a second. Now you can see this is a Flask Security 2, and we have this APIs as well. You can see this thing. So we can do multiple things from it. We can use authentication for authentication. Sorry. We can use for user registration. We can use for role and permission management, which we are doing right now. We can do email active account activation, password management like recovery and all of those things. We will use these things. Two-factor authentication. We can use all of these things to at later stage. But right now what we are doing, we are looking for the APIs. So if you see the APIs, now in the APIs we are looking in the core APIs and util APIs. So because we require these things. So we are working on that part. So in the util, we have used hash password, verify password. These two things basic I have used, and uh, then from the core I have used security, where I use the security.init app to set up the security. So first you have to understand this thing, and now this is role mixing and this is user mixing. So these two combine the relationship and help in the creating the roles table or roles user. So role mixing where we define the roles, user mixing where we define the users, and roles user where these two combination get merged automatically. So to do that, I have just make some changes in the code and created an extension.py where I just set up the security of set up the Flask security after installing. So Flask security requires some of the dependencies. So that dependency is known as argan CFFI and bcrypt. So bcrypt is one of the hashing, not hashing, what is encryption method. So you can use, in that you can use SHA-256, SHA-1 and other sort of encryption method. But by default it takes SHA-256 and we are using that. And Argan CFFI is another package which will help you build the test cases and make login systems, the security setups and all sort of those things. So you need to update this as well. And then I have in extension, I have just initialized two things. User data store where they manage the user, and security to manage the security of that database. Then in the app.py, we define those things from taking those things from the extensions. So we have set up extensions.user data store as SQL data store, but this itself requires some of the configurations that we set up in the config.py. So you can see in the config.py we have added security password salt, security token authentication header, and secret key. So these are managed in the, where these are things, security password salt, these are managed in the what I said, .env file. I cannot show you the password right now, right? That's a secret. You can create any password, like I have created one, you can see that. And in the app.py I have just set up that, initialize that configuration, and then that is enough. And then I did the user database reinitialization, or not reinitialization, so basically for that, and adding the security to it for those things. And then I use those things in the user.py file. Why user.py file? So this is the page where, if you remember, we have make sign up page and login page. So we use that. We have imported this. We have imported Flask security to make the use of check password or verify hash password or verify password, and we have used this to make our code more structured in form of adding the exception handling. Now we are in the second iteration, so we will learn about exception handling as well. So what does require? There are multiple exceptions that could be possibly occur and you didn't know about it, and you want to capture that. In that capture, that is the thing we use to generate those errors in the front end or even internally to manage those processes, so that if you don't have to find every other thing. Most of these cases could be the database. Let's say database operations are going on and something happened in mid. You want to roll back, and at the same time you want to send the error as some human readable format. So at that time we use that. So based on these three things, we modified some of the code in the sign up. If you see in the sign up, we have added name here, we have added name here, and these are the things we have already did. And after that we did the try. So in the try we have added role, by default user, if not exist. If exist, we will add in the if exist, if we do nothing, then we has the password which we get from the input, and then created the user with all the parameters like user ID, created at, email, username, password, phone number, name, status, and roles. Roles will itself create the user's role and it will manage that thing. Now if you see, it is not using db.create or something. It is just using user data store dot create user. It will manage. It is managing the database there. Now we have used the integrity error because that could be possibility that we are copying the same user. There could be other possibilities, so we will do the rollback of the DB and giving the error as output. Now similarly in the login, if you see, we did not change much, but we changed here. Now in the try, we again use the database query. We will find the user with the username it provided and verify the password. When verified, we generated the auth token. Basically, that access token which will be sent, and we will use that to generate that. And also, we are maintaining last login at that time. So these are the things we did. And now here we have used SQL come error. Any database error, it will do that. I hope that is understandable. So based on these things, if you remember, let's come back here. And fs unique file is something that is generated similar to token, which is sent. Now for that, let's build the ER diagram or add that in the ER diagram. What we did, we made name as last login at. We maintain role and that too as some relation with the user roles user. There is no JWT token. There will be fs unique fire. Then how did that get idea? So if you let's go to overview. The first thing, if you see, quick start, not quick start. I want more details, so that will be in the token authentication. If you can see those things here and how to maintain that. Not here. It was the token. How database session. Yes, role-based access control. And now you can see the secret. We have to set the security password single hash. We have set that security password salt. Then for this auth required, what we did for this, we set the set unique fire, which is itself called. Then we use those things, and we have APIs for this as well. So you can move to APIs for that. You can directly go to here and find the APIs for it again. And set up the configurations as well. So you will find multiple things about this. You can go to YouTube and find those things. Let's say you are to create all of these things, single page application, security pattern. So these are things we will use. Auth token required we will use. Now here you will find the codes as well, few of the codes. So you have to find all of those things. CRF token is there. So these are things. So let's make the ER diagram and fs unique fire and also active. and this role should be at last. Now there is a table called role. Now this is ID. This is for roles, role table. This is name. And the third column is description. Now this is also independent, and with the relation of this there is a table which is user role. Roles user, which has user ID and role ID. And third column will be deleted. We have this relation. Like this, we have relation and this roles table itself is a relationship between role. It is between this table. So this is the changes we made. And now let's look into Jira and understand the problem statement and what the things we need to do. So it's working fine. So in the Jira, we have started the backend development. Now if you could think of, we are good to go with the database schema changes completed. Now what we have to start? We have to start with the user API modifications. We are in progress of that. What the modifications required? Login, sign up, because those are two things we require modification. And then based on that, we have to do blocking part changes that put should be there. Now for the block and delete, we have to make two APIs for those things. So if we today we will just define those tasks with the time remaining. So in the user modification, let's do that. We have to add that what we have to make delete and block functionality. for the user APIs. In the APIs. So we have did this. Now in the search API, this is again, this API is related to user and works for searches. Works to search the user. Now user review API. So this is just a small API, a small API for user, not for admin, to mark it for review. There is one side where there is an admin who can delete or block the user, but user can mark the for review. That will not be done by what does I say? That is not done by the any of the admin. Similarly for the post. Now in my post API, this is all new API for a new API for the user owned posts. Now count API, it is again all new APIs for all of this for admin. And then we have caching and mailing part. We will set up a mailer which will send the reports. All right. And at the end of this, we will again come back to the front end where we will integrate all of these APIs to store the data in the front end. And then finally, we will upload that to GitHub. And then we will write some part of containerization using Docker. And we will host the application to have a basic live preview. All right. So these are things we are learning today. That's all from my side. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.